Too many people associate retirement with the end.
I figure it'll be a little bit of a transition to try to slow down a little bit.
The number one question I have about retirement is having enough money to last.
In my mind, you start to look at it, that's an opportunity to do more of the things you want when you want to do it.
Make it financially able to do things that I enjoy.
Party.
Just financial security and enjoy my family.
More people need to go into it with their eyes wide open, understanding what is my plan, what do I want to do, and then how am I going to get there?
Will the rules change?
I have no real specific plan.
I'm planning for what the status is right now. I just hope it doesn't change drastically.
Welcome to the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Financial Security Group of Arizona. In retirement, it's all about income. And today, you'll hear ideas, concepts, and strategies designed specifically to generate reliable retirement income. Now, here's the host of the RetireTastic Show, JoAnn Regan.
Thank you for being with me today, and it's really good to have you. Isn't it important to be prepared in life? Preparation, preparation, preparation. I think you would say and agree that it's important to be prepared. Basic things in retirement, such as inflation, the ups and downs of the stock market, the cost of health care, the cost of long-term care, and other unknown situations and factors can all be devastating to your monies. You're listening to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. So I hope to give you some good information today based upon facts. So let's talk more about common mistakes in retirement. First, I'd like to discuss complacency. So many investors and retirees that are planning for retirement find themselves, I believe, in a place of complacency. Why would you be complacent? Well, here's a couple of reasons. One is that the stock market is at an all-time high. I can tell you over the years what I see and hear with people, and it's definitely happening right now because I have to, in order to connect to the best and connect well with people, understand what's going on. And it's really pretty easy to see what's going on if you're listening to the news, if you're on your phone, and you can see how the stock market is doing. You can hit one of those graphs and see how the stock market has been going up, even with COVID-19 last year, when about this time it took a serious dip of nearly 40%. But the market has bounced back since that low, and we're at all-time highs. So it's easy, very easy for investors to start feeling comfortable. It's so easy for them to feel so comfortable that they may not be doing what is best for them in the future. Now, that's not a recording problem. I did purposely slow down what I was saying, so let me say it again. One of the biggest problems that I see people doing right now is they are getting complacent and comfortable because the stock market is at an all-time high. And they do that when the stock market continues to seem like it's just going up and up and up. However, I will tell you that those same people are not necessarily prepared for their future because they got complacent and comfortable and they think that everything is okay. Perhaps they have enough to think about in life and they're thinking, I'm so glad I don't have to think about the stock market right now. Everything's going to be okay. Well, is that really a smart way to go when you're planning for retirement or you're in retirement? Perhaps you should be looking at the facts. We're at an all-time high. Does that mean we're at an all-time high forever, that everything is going to be great and everything's going to be better because the stock market is going to keep going up? No, I do believe that the stock market is going to go up, but I do believe that at some point it is going to correct. So that's really a great question. And I think our group overall believes that we'll see a fairly stable stock market this year in consideration of all the stimulus money and where we are with the vaccinations and with people going back to work. But does that mean it's going to last forever and you should stay complacent? No, it does not. Things are starting to get back to normal. We're starting to see our society go back to where it was before 2020. We all know what happened. And when things are good, we feel like we're okay. We don't need to do anything. It does feel good when we can just relax and almost take a deep sigh, so to speak, of relief and just think, I'm okay. It's all good. But when it comes to your retirement dollars, whether you're just about to jump off the working ship to the unearned income ship, and let me say that again, if you're about to get off the ship, S-H-I-P, of working, the ship where you're working and you have earned income, and you're about to go onto the ship where you have to depend on your money, your unearned income money, to give you that adequate income, isn't it important to make sure that the ship you're going is going in the right direction to meet your goals? I really find so many people aren't prepared and they have not put together their formal plan. And there are many reasons why this happens. And I want to talk today specifically, not just about the common mistakes that people make, but the reasons why I think they make those mistakes. And you can find some of the things I talk about might relate to how you personally deal with money. So many people just don't make the right decisions with respect to their money for many reasons, such as fear and procrastination and what I call paralysis of analysis. Some of them is just being completely complacent. And some things may just come from a fear of not knowing what to do and an inclination of just putting aside what you're not sure about. The question is where are you and what are you doing? Because you have to get your investment strategy right for you. And I'm saying this almost rhetorically. You have to do this. And a lot of people may think, I don't like anybody telling me what to do. Well, I'm not telling you what to do, but what I'm saying is your money in retirement is critically important to you. And how you invest and what happens to your money in your retirement is critically important, particularly when you get off that ship of working and having earned income, having savings, and having a match, particularly with a 401k as an example. So one of the most common mistakes that I find people making is that they're basically not using the right financial person, or they're trying to do it themselves. And I have a report that I'd like to get into your hands today. It's called 11 Signs You Are Using the Wrong Financial Advisor. And if you would like that report, why don't you give me a call at 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, that's 1-800-FSG-7890. Hopefully I'm getting you to think, and thanks for being with me. Today we're talking about common mistakes in retirement. Isn't it important to understand what mistakes you're making or not making in your retirement? You're listening to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. So many people that I talk about are caught up about not being able to make decisions about their retirement plans. And they talk to their daughter, they talk to their son, they talk to their neighbor, they talk to everybody trying to get an opinion. The question is, are those people financial advisors? Not too long ago, I had a really nice lady in her 40s, which is really young for the people that come into my office, come in and want to talk to me about her retirement planning. And she was telling me that she didn't understand a lot about investing. Her brother was telling her, you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to get a Roth IRA. And I had to go right to the basics with her because she really didn't understand what all that was. You kind of need to understand the language, and you need to understand how to think about what you're doing and what your choices are. And while it really isn't that complicated, it just gets down to basics and understanding some of the language so that you can think clearly about what's important to you, because you have to get your investment strategy right for you so that you can have dependable money and dependable income. Isn't it important to be prepared in life? Again, preparation, preparation, preparation. I think you could say and would agree that it's really important to be prepared because basic things in retirement, such as inflation, ups and downs of the stock market, the cost of health care, the cost of long-term care, and other unknown situations can be devastating when it comes to your money. So how are you invested? I'm asking that question so you can ask yourself, how are you invested? Are you invested properly for your retirement? If you're not retired yet, are you invested in a way that you can make the shift from the accumulation phase to the distribution phase? In the accumulation phase, you can take a little bit more risk. That phase where perhaps you can utilize more capital gains and capital appreciation and the type of investments that do that. But when you change into the distribution phase, you're not able to do things the same. And when you're making the shift from the accumulation phase based upon a certain type of strategy of investing, you're going to have to change your investments in the future. If you're going to be needing income in the future or immediately once you retire, don't you think you need to understand that it's important to make sure that you're going into preservation of principal and making sure that you're taking income instead of taking your principal? Here is where a balance is really, really important when you're thinking about how to invest your money. A balance in your portfolio is something that should be designed, I believe, after you have a complete education of what's going on, and you need to work with a competent, experienced, and knowledgeable advisor. You want to work with someone who understands the world of retirement planning the world of investments. You want to work with an advisor that truly has all the choices available and doesn't have an agenda other than what's best for you, the investor, the soon-to-be retiree, or the retiree because nothing else is more important. I find that so many people, when they're planning for their retirement, is working with what I would consider a stock brokerage firm or an advisory firm where it's mostly about stocks. They're working with advisors that don't have an attitude of how to help you invest in other things in order to make sure that you're investing for income. And it's kind of almost like a one-trick pony kind of an approach. A true fiduciary is going to look at the client, the investor, the retiree, the one planning for retirement in such a way that they're going to have an approach that's going to understand what's going to happen with the client's money. It's the client's retirement and it's the client's life. And I would say if an advisor was listening in, they should understand that they need to take a true fiduciary process, whether they're a fiduciary or not, because they have to have what's best for the client coming up first. So right now we're going to take a short break. And when I come back, we'll talk about how to do all of this.
The RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan airs Saturday afternoons at 1 and Sunday mornings at 8:30. You're listening to the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store. Have you missed any of today's program? No problem. You can hear all of the RetireTastic Show online anytime, 24/7 at yourfsg.com. That's yourfsg.com.
Whether this is the new normal or the new right now, our economy has changed. So what does this mean for your retirement? To keep you up to date and informed, we've put together a series of webinar events because even though many things around us keep changing, your need for retirement income will remain constant. For the date and time of our next webinar event,
call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Or visit us online at yourfsg.com. So how's this latest stock market roller coaster ride treating you? You've worked too long and too hard scrimping and saving for retirement to have it exposed to this market volatility. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, hoping for different results. For your free, no obligation, no more volatility information kit, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. It's time to get off the roller coaster and get serious about how you're planning for retirement, using tools and strategies designed to generate steady retirement income so you may have the retirement you've worked so long and so hard for. For your free, no obligation, no more volatility information kit, call 800-FSG-7890. Remember the good old days when you could earn 5% on a bank CD? What if you could earn similar rates on interest and dividends to those CD rates? It's possible. And the income specialists at the Retirement Income Store can help you. We're a network of experienced financial advisors operating independently owned firms under the umbrella of the Retirement Income Store. This makes it simple and easy for you to find a retirement income specialist in your local area. Our advisors have helped hardworking Americans across the country invest and save for their retirement.
to learn more about the Retirement Income Store, call your local retirement income specialist, JoAnn Regan of the Financial Security Group at 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890.
The Retirement Income Store, where retirees go for income. Time now for more of the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Financial Security Group of Arizona.
So welcome back. Isn't it important to understand the mistakes you could be making? So you're listening to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. Many advisors go really quiet when the markets go down. They're going to say things like, it'll be okay, don't worry, hang in there, everything's going to come back. Markets go up, markets go down, and they're probably not retirement income specialists. They're probably a stockbroker or a capital gains or capital appreciation specialist. They may be a growth-only specialist. But when you're retired, you really need to be working with a retirement income specialist. And as part of the Retirement Income Store group, I can tell you that we put our clients' needs first. We try to make sure that you are okay and that you get the income that you need in retirement. And if your advisor is only putting you in mutual funds or something like all stocks or things like that, that may not be exactly the strategy that you should be looking for. You should have a combination of appropriate investments so that you are maximizing your income and maximizing your retirement. As you're listening in today, you may be thinking, I'm hearing some things that maybe I might need to get some answers. If you'd like to talk to me about any of the things that I'm talking about today, I'd be so happy to talk to you on the phone. I'd also be happy to do a Zoom meeting with you, or you can come to my office. So don't hesitate to give me a call at 1-800-FSG-7890. Also, if you'd like a copy of 11 Signs That You're Using the Wrong Financial Advisor, give me a call about that too, because I'll be glad to get that out to you. Give me a call at 1-800-FSG-7890. You're listening to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to make sure you have a fantastic retirement. And today we're talking about common mistakes in retirement, and here are some of them. 1, too heavily invested in the stock market. You have too much risk for your risk tolerance and too much risk for your preferences and too much risk because you cannot afford to lose any capital at this point in your life. Number 2, procrastinating and not making any decisions. Have you heard the definition of fear? If you take the letters of fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. Most of the time when people have fear, it's something that they're afraid of that never happens. I was told somebody did a study and wrote a book that included this study that says only 4% of the things that people worry about and fear ever come true. I would tend to think it might be even less than that. How much time do we spend in our life worrying too much? Well, probably more than you need to. One way not to worry is to make sure that you have the facts. Get your information, get a plan done, understand what you need to do, understand your choices. And here are some of the problems I see people make in retirement. They don't factor inflation, which is another problem. They don't factor in the cost of long-term care in the future and having enough and sufficient monies to cover those costs. It's important to get the job done for yourself the best way. The biggest fear that people have nowadays is running out of money or not having enough money for long-term care, either in home or assisted living or nursing homes. Most people probably would prefer that if they had to have long-term care, they would have it at home and have adequate money and adequate plans in place to be able to have at-home care for as long as possible, if not the entire time before you pass on. You really need to know what strategies you have that are going to provide the income and the resources to take care of those costs. Most of you will live a third of your life in retirement, and you're going to need that money to be there for decades, for many years. Do you have your plan in place to get that done? Are your investments, your investment strategy correct for you, for the plan, for the needs that you have? That's critically important. Another mistake I see people make is not getting a second opinion. So many people get stuck with working with somebody that they've been with forever, and they just procrastinate and don't make changes. It may not be good and it may not be suited for you anymore. The advisor that you had in your younger years may not be the right advisor that you need to be working with in your retirement years. If you're uncomfortable with your current situation and you just want to get a second opinion, why not reach out to me at 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, at 1-800-FSG-7890. Getting a second opinion never hurts. We're talking about common mistakes. Maybe you're making some of those mistakes, or maybe you're making mistakes that are not so common. Whatever that might be, perhaps you need a review and an analysis of the type of approach you're taking. You're listening to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. So earlier in the show, I was talking about understanding some of the fundamentals of what type of money you have. It's really important to understand what type of money that you have from a tax perspective. So qualified money means it's qualified by the government where you have some tax advantages in the plan that you're under. The plan or that type of money might be a 401k, a 403b, a 457, a Roth, a regular IRA. Those are all qualified plans. The IRS has deemed these plans to have certain tax advantages. It's important to ask yourself, do I have a qualified plan or a non-qualified plan? A non-qualified plan is simply a plan where you're using after-tax dollars. Let me say, because some of you might be saying, I have a plan that's after-tax, meaning an after-tax Roth IRA. That's what a Roth IRA is. You are using after-tax dollars. But when you put the monies into a Roth IRA, you are using after-tax dollars, but you're getting tax-deferred growth no matter where you put the investment. But what are after-tax dollars? After-tax dollars might be your brokerage account, your savings account, or something that you've already paid tax on, and you're using that money to be able to make investments or do the things that you want to do. So what's the advantage of a Roth IRA in the distribution side of your retirement? Basically, the money you take out, you don't have to pay tax on. And you don't have to take money out of your Roth IRA if you don't want to. There is no required minimum distribution. Here's the other advantage. If you do need income and you're taking it out, and some of you will have to do that, I believe that a Roth could be really helpful to you during your retirement. So if you have questions about the difference between a Roth or a traditional and what might be good for you and whether you should do a conversion or not, then we're glad to help you go from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. Remember, you're going to have to pay tax if you do a conversion, but that's okay. Sometimes it works out to your advantage. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have $500,000 in an IRA and you want to convert 100 of that traditional IRA to a Roth. You're going to have to pay tax on that conversion. I need to do a Roth. Maybe you do. Maybe it's a good thing. This is something you might want to do after full consideration. You will also need to be working with somebody that can help you with the understanding of the taxes that you're going to be paying. That's where working with an advisor who also has a tax practice is going to help you. As an IRS enrolled agent, I am able to help you make those considerations and go through your taxes with you to figure out how much you can convert and what's going to be helpful for you in your retirement. So I am a tax consultant, and I can tell you how taxes work, and I can give you the guidance that you need based upon the information that you give me so we can get the job done. I understand how it applies to the transfers of money, so if you need a little help there, I can help you. That's another common mistake that people make. They make decisions that can cost them in taxes, and they don't get the proper help. So if you're concerned about that and you need help, I'd be glad to assist you. There are so many things to talk about, but I definitely want you to ask yourself and do a little self-analysis and a little introspection. Are you making mistakes that could cause you major problems in your retirement? If you need a little help or understanding in what to do, or an analysis of what you're doing, or an education of what you can do, please give me a call at 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, that's 1-800-FSG-7890. Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you off the air. Tell a friend about this show and tune back in again next week.
That's all the time we have for today. To speak with JoAnn off the air, call 800-FSG-7890. And for more information about our program, visit yourfsg.com. The RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan airs Saturday afternoons at 1 and Sunday mornings at 8:30. To speak with JoAnn off the air, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Or visit us online at yourfsg.com.
Investment advisory services offered by FSG Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisory firm in the states of Arizona, Nevada, and California. Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm, is a sub-advisor of FSG Financial Services, Inc. FSG Financial Services, Inc. and Sound Income Strategies, LLC are not associated entities. FSG is a franchisee of the Retirement Income Store. The Retirement Income Store and Sound Income Strategies, LLC are associated entities.